how would you react to this? Supposing I were to say to you that we all come into the world with a contract, right? And that contract provides for every experience that we actually go through in life.
I would say that's a little fatalistic. That
it is fatalistic
and
on one level.
And I don't actually accept total, fatalism. I accept that we come into the world with a certain preconditioning, which will affect how we behave in this life to sometimes a very large degree. But it's never going to be the total factor. The past will never, ever be the total definer of how you act in the moment.
Yeah, but okay, well, that raises other questions as well. But let's just stay with the image for the moment.
You're the one throwing these.
No, I am. But I mean, but you are assuming a past, right? And we could go further and say, well, actually, everything's happening in the moment. There is no past.
Yeah, but you started it with you come into this world with the contract.
But I didn't say in the past. I mean, that's a
key past tense.
Well, okay. Language.
I know, and that's part of the difficulty. And
okay, we come into the world then with a contract, present tense. Okay,
we are in the world.
We are in the world with a contract.
And where did that contract come from?
With a mission. Because there is one field of belief that says that we have many lives, and in between those lives, our lives are reviewed. By whom? I don't know. People talk of a spirit council, something like that. And then we come into another life, and during that next life, we actually undertake, wrong word again, but language is getting in the way. We actually come in and say, right, these are the experiences I want to have in this lifetime. And they may be, as you would say, karmic or karma related, or they may be other. They may be, these are the experiences I want to have in this life. Now, if that's what I'm saying, so if you come in with that,
I have no problem. I actually agree with that to a degree. I'm not sure about the karmic committee. We've been through this and we're not quite, not quite sure about.
Well, I'm just sharing with you.
That's a detail.
Let's get serious about this. I don't want people to think this is airy-fairy.
No,
because there have been people who've gone through, and this is documented, so-called clinical death experiences.
No, absolutely. The process
where
of
they have actually had this experience. And they've had this experience of meeting incredibly loving beings, whatever they are, Some people have talked about the Buddha, Jesus, and meeting, but also meeting beings that have, in a sense, allowed them or enabled them to review their life in such a way that they've literally rewound the whole thing and seen it all. And in particular, the one guy said, if ever there was a hell, the hell was seeing those times in your life where you withheld love from others. That was, for me, hell, seeing that or feeling it. And maybe in that situation, that was it.
No,
but that was his own judgment, having come back into the
No, I absolutely accept that. But I would say that is the reality.
Right.
That
okay.
is actually,
so that's all I'm saying. Now, I'm not saying there's no free will, right? But I'm saying possibly, and I don't necessarily say this is the case because I don't know, but there is a postulation that we come in with this agreement, quote unquote, to go through all these experiences. Now, one of those experiences may be, right, and this is coming back to your point, for me or someone at some point, possibly in my life, it doesn't matter how old I am, to jump into a river or to fall into a river to have a certain experience. Now, that experience may or may not call for someone like you who happens to be walking on the back.
It doesn't matter. You may have that thing.
But what it doesn't call for is for someone necessarily to, if you like, interfere and jump in because they have, as you would say, or as I understood you were saying earlier,
you're missing the fallacy
you have
of
some
this.
Compassion.
No.
And you would go and help someone who's drowning.
Look, But you're missing the key point on that.
Okay, what is it then?
Yeah, you may have this person who thinks that it is the fulfillment of their so-called contract that they have to go and jump in the river. And
they won't think that, Martin.
Well, I know they won't think. I know, but whatever it is, they're in there. Now, the person on the bank is not aware of whatever this person is meant to go through, and neither should they try and speculate on that.
No, they won't,
because that will get them into trouble. Rather,
they'll probably react instinctively.
They act in dharma, because it's this point you made. This guy thinking about how would that person on the bank feel at the end of their life if they were reviewing their life and thinking about all the times they didn't show love.
Yeah, but that's a judgment again, because that person may need to go through exactly that experience to enable him to fulfill his quote-unquote contract.
Then, look...
Because you're putting a judgment on it and saying that if he doesn't, he's going to feel guilty. Great, maybe he will.
But you said it was hell.
For him.
And the point is, you don't have to go through hell. You can, but you don't have to withhold love. Actually, when the opportunity comes up, give love. And if a person's in need, help them. That is part of giving love. That will take you further than all this so-called fulfillment of previous karmic obligations. And that's the point the Bhagavad Gita makes, is that karma is the most temporary of all kind of forces of the universe. It's powerful. It will control everything. It will determine the way things unfold. But it is the most temporary and actually one of the most easiest things to dissolve. Karma is dissolved by acting in love. Karma is created in acting in selfishness. Whenever I act for my interest, I take the full reactions of everything that spreads out throughout the universe comes back at me. When I act in love, there's no reaction.
But you're presuming...
And it actually does more than that. The so-called things that I came into the world were ultimately... They're only there ultimately until we come to love. When those who are reviewing the circumstances see that actually what's unfolding in your life is love, they think, why do we need all those other kind of things that we said he had to go through? Because those aren't important. The importance is love. And if someone's coming to the point of love, then forget all that other karmic rubbish that he was supposed to do and this, that and the other. It's of no relevance. Because the whole arrangement ultimately is for the soul to come to love. So whatever can bring you to love... But
you're still saying that love, as I understand it, precludes someone walking on by and letting it be. Is that what you're saying?
I think that the Uttama Adhikari, as I said, someone in pure love might be so transcendental to the circumstances that they may not actually see that this is person need other than anything else. Or they may have a higher awareness of this guy's reality. They may do, but
that's the point I'm making.
But that is so far beyond us that we're warned that no one less than that should dare to think like that, because if you do think like that, you're probably actually going to, instead of walking towards love, you're going to find yourself closing yourself off to every opportunity of love around you, because you think you know better.
I'm sure there are lots of people actually watching this film, listening to us, who would think to themselves, well, actually, if I saw someone, floundering in a river, I probably would not jump in and try and save them.
But that may be...
Does that mean they're not coming from a place of love? Does that mean they're self-centered? Does that mean they're concerned about their own?
No, but I would say that if it was their kid who fell in, they would jump in, because the love would outweigh the risk assessment and anything else that was going through their head. But the idea is that Dharma just allows you to expand your sense of love. And that's what I think, if there is lessons in life to be learned, then I think that's what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think we disagree on this, because for me, it's like, again, for me, it's all or nothing. It's like, when does the daughter going in become the cousin going in, become the uncle going in, and when does
That's your circle of but that's your ability to love. And
that cannot. Well, that for me is not love, because you're confining love to a family circle.
Well, then you can call it.
You're saying I will love my close family,
only
but I won't love every human being. Is that what you're saying?
No, and that's
enough to jump in and save them.
That is the stage of love that most of us are at. Now, you might say, well, that therefore doesn't qualify as love. Because if it's short of universal love...
It's conditional love.
It's conditional love, exactly. And no, that's absolutely right. And there's various statements in the Upanishads, Puranas, etc., which therefore will look at conditional love and say, well, that's not love at all.
That's what I would say.
And because it's not bhakti. Bhakti is totally unconditional. Ahoitikiya pratiyata. Absolutely no cause to it, no limit to it, no reason to it, nothing that will ever... And that's love. But the point is, I'm not there. I may know that that's what love is, but at the same time, I've got these stirrings in my heart, and I'm willing to extend that to a certain group. Now, in the material world, we call that love.
Yes.
But you see, the difficulty, of course, is English. As my Latin teacher used to say, Latin has one word for love, and about 20 words for I kill, slaughter, cleave, slice up, which showed where their kind of priorities lay. English has only got the one word love, and therefore we use love for the universal sense, the pure spiritual love, and we use it, I love my girlfriend, or whatever.
Interestingly, in Spanish, which I learnt the other day, they use te quiero, which means I want you, as that's their more common I love you, so especially in a relationship situation. Yeah. But they very rarely use te amo, which is you might say, the sort of higher form of love, and I mean, which I think is interesting,
and not many,
as you say,
and not many words.
They probably come close as any to
still
distinguishing. I think what you're saying.
I don't think it still distinguishes, because I think that word for love, is just I am attracted, I am fond, I like, I love. That's still, we're talking about very conditioned love, within a very small sphere around us. Yeah. But English doesn't have the word for prema, for bhakti.
Yeah.
Pure spiritual love, which has no limits. It doesn't have that word. Whereas Sanskrit at least makes that sort of distinction. And I think it is important, that distinction. But again, it's back to the same point, where are we at the moment? Where am I at the moment? And what outlook and what approach to life will help me, come to bhakti? How will that bhakti unfold and be released within my heart?